show, which you can catch Saturday, February 28th on Lifetime. It's a very emotional story about a young man who's been in and out of the foster care system and the toll that it's taken on him. Now, I have to ask you, where does your passion come from when it comes to foster care? Where does that come from for you?
Well, in '97, I was in Miami, and Parker was just a little boy, and there was a 5-year-old girl who was raped and beaten in a one-bedroom apartment in Little Havana. And I somehow couldn't get it out of my head. And the doctor came to our house because Parker was sick, and I asked him, because he was at that hospital, if he knew the girl. And his college roommate happened to be her doctor. And I don't believe there are any coincidences, you know. So I arranged to meet her, and she was in a residential treatment facility for kids who were severely abused and who were in foster care. And it broke my heart to see there were toddler beds in this, you know, room for sexually abused kids. And I met this young girl and talked to her a little bit about her life, and I met all the other girls there. And when I left that facility, I applied to become a foster parent. And you have to take a course and get licensed. And
how long does the course take?
It takes a few months, you know, to 6 months. You have to go and get your home also certified so that, you know, the pool is covered and things that you don't have to do for your own kids. You know, you give birth to a kid, nobody checks. But you want to take a kid that is abandoned and in need of a home, you have to pass a lot of hurdles. But I think it's a good thing because you don't want, needless to say, the wrong people getting these kids. And then I was back visiting that other girl, and there was a brother and sister holding hands. They were the cutest kids I'd ever seen in my life. And the social worker told me they had been in 30 foster homes.
Oh my gosh.
And they were 3 and 5 years old. And so I did not tell Kelly, which I don't advise to people who are in a relationship. I put them in my car and took them home.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it was a little bit of a big bite I took out of that hamburger.
Yeah.
And so the young boy stayed with us just a little while and then was placed in a special home for he had special needs. And the young girl we had for about 1.5 years, and we inquired about adopting her, but that's when we found out in the state of Florida, gay people are not allowed to adopt even the foster children they raise.
Really?
Yes, and so we went with the civil liberties, the ACLU, and we did a class action lawsuit to try to change that, and it just recently now has been changed. But that little baby girl, whose name is also Rosie.
Her name's Rosie?
Yeah.
How's she doing?
She's doing great, and my friends Eileen and her husband, they adopted her. They have an older son, Kevin, and we see her frequently, and she's doing really great, and it's a good ending to that.
Good, because as soon as you just said that, I got crushed
Yeah, I was not able to let her go back. It felt like I was on a, you know, the QE2, and here's a little baby with swimmies, and I was going to throw her in the ocean. I couldn't do it, and, you know, luckily we got the court system to work in a way. She was transferred to New Jersey, and my friends who were trying to adopt, you know, we made a transition, and she's still in our family, so that's a good thing.
The older a kid gets, it's definitely harder for them to get permanently adopted,
without a doubt.
Right?
And a large percent of kids who are up for adoption are, believe it or not, under the age of 8. And a lot of people think that, you know, the vast majority are teens, but there are many kids who are taken away at birth because the mother has either tested positive for drugs or has a history of child abuse. And, you know, some of those kids just need a safe place to land for a little while, just a respite. And some of them need permanent homes.
Tell me that there's a what is it, 8 out of 10 kids that exit the foster system, that age out. 8 out of 10 of them what?
End up either dead, in jail, or on the streets. And 30,000 kids every year age out of foster care in America. 30,000.
So what can we do about that?
We need the federal government to really change the law and to provide more services, not only to these kids, but to the people who are trying to help them and take care of them. You know, oftentimes you take a kid from foster care, the kid has been through such traumatic events and they're quite troubled, and you need a lot of attention and a lot of extra help, and in our society with all the cuts, it's just not funded.
I hear about a lot of abuse in foster homes. Is that prevalent?
Sadly, that's true, because oftentimes people do it for the money. Now, it's hard for people who are trying to place kids to know which people are doing it for the money, and you hear these horror stories. There was a young boy, Fahim Williams, found dead in Newark, New Jersey, handcuffed to his twin brother, who was still alive.
Oh my God.
And the mother was in jail, and she gave the kids to her sister, who could not take care of them, and chained them up in the basement. Now listen, these are horror stories that happen all the time, but abuse does occur. And in some states, in Florida, I think you get $11 a day to care, feed, and clothe a child that you're taking care of in foster care. So if somebody is doing it for the money, $11 a day is not going to go very far, so they take a sibling family of 5. And that's $55 a day. And the cabinets are locked, and the kids live in one room, on one mattress. And there are horror stories that you can't believe these kids survive. The fact that they age out is a testament to their resilience.
That they
the
are
fact
surviving.
that they survived to be 18 without a home, in 30 different homes, some of which are very unsafe.
We'll be right back.